Right. Because I'm a knee locker.
Me too. I think most of us are knee lockers. All right. After finding Padottanasana and after feeling your knees kind of soften, I wrote in all caps, strong legs, soft joints. Because this is so easy to do, lock the knees back. Padottanasana encourages straighter joint lines. What I mean by that is if you're not using Padottanasana and the knees lock back, what happens when people fold, their knees go behind. And this is how people can get their head to the floor, is because their joints are moving backward instead of keeping everything in a line and moving forward. You can see I shake a little bit more because it's harder work to do. But you saw my head was way closer to the ground out here when my joints were straight. Whereas I got my head underneath me the way I think it's supposed to be if my butt is way back. If your hands are at your hips, or a lot of the time people go here and they fold, sometimes what I see is their arms go like way over, which was taught for a very long time, and I taught that for a very long time. And my goal was, I got my hands to the floor eventually. Oh. I could fold like this and bring my hands to the floor. Like that.
That's what I was always thinking I needed to do.
Yeah, and I didn't realize I was actually pulling my shoulder out of alignment. My shoulder was going further and further forward to get my hand to the ground instead of being back here safe. It doesn't mean that your shoulder can't lift a little bit when you fold, but most people's shoulders are here and then there when they're folding. So the block helps to keep your shoulder here. In fact, let's do a little test really quick for forward folding. I want you to take your hands to your elbows. Kind of keep your shoulders fairly relaxed and bring your forearms to your forehead. So if you can, sometimes people's length of the arm will bring it a little bit more to like where the hairline is, but if you can, the forehead. And then I want you to fold and feel this is where your shoulders usually are at. Like, keep your shoulders where they are, but then drop your arms. Is that where your shoulders usually are when you fold, or does that feel different?
I feel like it's more loose, relaxed.
Usually more relaxed?
No, I feel more relaxed right now.
Oh,
maybe it's just that I'm not like pressing my hand.
No, you're right. It's definitely more relaxed. If your shoulder isn't dropping this way with gravity, it puts a lot of tension in people's necks, and I know you've got some injury there, and especially with a neck injury, you can feel a pretty big difference if their shoulder is here when they fold versus here when they fold. So I'll kind of show that again from this side. If I go here, bring my forearms to my forehead and then bend my knees while I fold. Then I keep my shoulders there but drop my arms. First of all, my neck is where it's supposed to be, which is nice. And this is where most people usually are. So the same thing applies with the straddle. That's how we use the block. It's kind of the same technique. It's as if you were doing this, but you get a little bit more pull through the chest if your hands are behind you. But instead of lacing the fingers, which generally people end up doing this, locking the wrist out to try to find more mobility in their shoulder, when really they're not finding mobility in their shoulder, they're just dropping their arm. Squeezing the palms together would be the best thing to do if you were going to lace your fingers back and not allow your palms to separate. But I like the block because not everyone can bring their palms together. Most people can't. So with the block, you're giving yourself some more space. Alright, so let's find this position. Let's move from the legs the same way we have them. Press through Padottanasana. Feel a little internal rotation all the way up the thigh into the hip. Find your bandhas. Try to maintain your bandhas. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, push through your feet. Maybe that means a little bend into the knees as you fold. And then maybe recorrect and extend longer once you get into your fold. And maybe start with the block at your pulse, and then maybe reach your block to the ceiling. And notice, is your neck still in John Bar Bandha? Or have you switched to dropping the weight of your head down? Alright, now what if you squeeze your butt? Can your hips go a little higher? Can you fold a little bit more? Ah, yes. Now let's lift up.
So that was a good question. The question was, why if you flex your butt in a fold, does it make you fold deeper? It seems like it should pull you the other way, and it would in some scenarios. But here, it's kind of, if you're in really nice skeletal alignment, and then you engage the glutes, it's kind of like when you're standing and you're pushing through your feet to lift up through your head. When you're in a straddle fold, your butt is now your head. Push through your feet and reach up through your butt head.
So perfect.
What if I call it your head butt? Does that make it better? Yeah, I just think it's my butt head. And it does, it like pulls everything taller and straighter.
Yeah.
Nice observation.